Welcome. I'm so glad that you can join me here today. 156, pages 429, 30, and 31. Excerpts out of 852 from The Sovereign Light, A Course in Metaphysical Spirituality. And my name is Reverend Maria Arvanitides. So glad that you can take this moment with your presence is very much appreciated. Beautiful autumn day as we begin to enter into the winter months, even going into November as of, well, one more week left of October, and you can feel it in the air, the breeze right through and cleansing, a little bit of a chill in the air. Whenever you're ready, we can begin. Find a comfortable place where you can position yourself comfortably. 100% of your presence to be here in this empowered moment. So let's begin by taking a few deep breaths in and out. Just really take this breath deep and breathe through your heart. And with every breath in, through your cells, exuding out, breathing in and out. Find that place of stillness and sink into this peaceful place. Ground, anchor if you will, and center. Breathing in and out. Ready? You can opt to have your eyes closed or open. And today's affirmation, activation, if you will, to filter throughout the day from this perspective onward, to perceive in this awareness and the supporting statement that can be added, modified. In addition, you can add more and perhaps create a little prayer for yourself. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. These gifts I have accepted, that I may receive the blessings from the light I found within. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. And let that sink in for a moment. What happiness feels like. It is a changeless geometry from the oneness. It thrives on the ability to sense compassion, and from its evolving variations toward atonement. Letting go reaches a level of understanding, and that forgiveness in this concept can fall by the wayside. Uplift compassion in its better meaning, that in truth there is nothing to pity over. Meaning, when you think of compassion, is it something that comes from pity of another? Has it been tainted to that level, like all the other words in our vocabulary, to mean in its corrupted perspective to perceive through as pity over another? All these meanings, they must be cleared, and like a child, to learn again for the very first time this feeling. Through feeling, unlike any other experience that we think we know, passed down through lineage or the consensus of the majority that make it real as factual proof, to being something twisted and distorted. Let's untwist for a moment and clear the lens. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. So when we have compassion, is it in a way of sorrow, that we might feel we are lowering ourselves down to something very pitiful that reflects in our environment? As poor, starving children, we must give to charity and donate to the pockets of the wealthy in this way? Charity, that whole concept that's keeping it together, what is it that we are contributing to supporting and endorsing that we make real, that we think in our charity of giving is righteous and acceptable. Food for thought. And so it can be expanded into a sermon. However, I will continue reading. All the different versions of the self must be understood to evolve. Evolution and growth will never cease. Thus, forgiveness too will remain changeless, and for this reason. The only change that can be, therefore, is that of the perceiver, to realize that forgiveness is in the same as time and application. It is a tool. Compassion and forgiveness, too, are applications, and that can take in this truthful place of giving and receiving. However, can only function from a state of love and with heart wide open. Compassion is this word for the day, to experience firsthand for yourself, and not through the lenses of indoctrination, of how others say it must be seen and felt. Compassion is the working of the mind and heart together. Forgiveness is the function of the lower state, and to find its place again from density with the information it requires to evolve and then ascend forth into enlightenment. So, lighten up into the next step of transcendence and release all the grievances through forgiveness, and the world can feel a little lighter. The inner child reflecting back to parent will eventually accumulate in purity amongst the many, and to awaken them as warriors of light. Hold this energy and share its information with the many that are pure enough and can feel it from its source that houses it. The information is pristine, and it can be the cause for many changes. Transfigure from this light and become uplifted with illumination. At the core and within the self is the watcher of pristine awareness. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. Be ready now and to shed away from previous thoughts that once upon a time carbon-based reality and clear all membranes from regrets. Now the kingdom of heaven awaits, and from deep within welcomes the self to join it. The kingdom of heaven was never to be found out there. It is a feeling state rather than its surface substance that created it. When the child can recognize and be recognized and given love to be expressive, encourage this nurturing and never suppress it in such a state as to create the ego for its mind. Accept this gift, compassion, to liberate the world with, and the value of the self. It will be given its own from within. The world in essence is the awareness that you transfigure to imprint upon the mirror of your reality. The environment, the circumstances, the subjects, the things that we engage with and animate and comes to life as real, that reawakens in our world, or even as a background to it. People, places, things. Free will or without. And that's another topic altogether. So the world has nothing of relevance in giving to the mind. Rather, the infinite intent and its intelligence will bring about such evolution. The illness of a mental mind game manipulation shows in those disconnected, shadowed in areas of itself, of its life. Rather, see them in resilience and whilst evolving at their own pace through resistance. Kind of gets the adrenals in the kidneys going. So a lot of people just function from that. Where's my coffee? And so this is what it means when the actual Kundalini awakening happens. Then that lower aspect is not really relied upon as much. It moves up into the heart and functions from there. And there it can be realized. Compassion. Allow for the self to be receptive to the intricate dream cycles that can no longer conceal the nothingness from within. And with open eyes, be in a state of happiness and peace to feel and fill the world with throughout your day. They too will find it in their own time and express it in their own way of acceptance. Release all previous resentments and just allow forgiveness to find its place. This feeling will birth compassion in its ancient truth. This heart is sacred, and it holds much memory than can ever be described today. Intend on feeling through such these applications. And feel the turning point. It has now been reached, where hell is left with nothing more to explore, because the road preferred has always been much easier. From all this mucky density that self created, it cannot remain in it and release it. It will, for heaven's answer. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. What is heaven really? What is heaven? Is it some place that we earn when we die? Or is this ascension, the rapture that we feel? It's here, right now. We can awaken to it and break free from the enslavement program that also distorts this thing that we might think we know as heaven. And choose it to be real as hell. Enlightenment and density to such limited state that a rock must feel. We see. As enslaved, as going nowhere unless someone picks it up and throws it. Is this what we have become? And the more we deeper and deeper go into that emptiness, we find the liberation in the densest of places. We become the mountain. We see all things around us, the changes. And in the morning and evening, contemplate the nearing end of this matrix density passed on from many generations that we must do. It's a duty that it must be done in this structured way. And the more accumulates, the more dense and structured and limiting it becomes, with many walls and many blocks that only resilience can break it free. And then where does it go? So in the morning and evening, contemplate the nearing end of hell on earth. The carbon-based linear from one point to the other, beginning and end. Rather see the whole circumference and of the collective's ego-driven mindset that helped create it in the fourth, lower heart space. To look down rather than up from a higher, resurrected perspective. So make certain that love here and now be your empowerment. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. There's nothing to prove to anyone. This can instead be the creation of such happiness and for the encouragement to go through this existence, rather this exercise even. Make what the will can. This thing called life force. And only be ready to accept, and at whatever pace, take it easy and stretch the mind a little at a time with baby steps. Practice feeling compassion for the world from a higher stance perspective, and that of the self, to help evolve down to the very agitation, and that calls out forgiveness. There is hope for that reality as well. That's the only place that hope can be of great assistance. And go within and visualize the world, how it has recreated artificially its light as it uses to blind and cover it completely with the originally evolved and beautiful one. Walk toward and picture the self directly in this light, receiving of the truth, and behind weaponry appearances, these gifts of ancient time. For each quarter of the hour passing, remember of these gifts that can be applied to heal and create rather than harm, maim, and destroy. And throughout the day, for at least a minute, the following can help to remind how precious the power of these gifts mustn't be taken for granted. And while holding the awareness on them, compassion offers everything to the forgiving. These gifts I have accepted, that I may receive the blessings from the light I found within. The purpose is to find these gifts, or this gift rather of the soul, and directly from the heart to mind connection. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. Compassion offers everything to the forgiving. And with that note, you can slowly start to come around. Open your eyes, blink them open with every breath. In and out. And thank you so very much for joining me here today. Very busy place. I got lipstick on.